Hi, welcome back. I'm Jake with Sprouting Spoons, and today we're going to be making a chicken kofta. Kofta is a traditional Mediterranean kebab, and today we're going to be making it with chicken, which is a healthy, lean protein. For our kofta, today we're going to be using a pound of chicken. It's going to be ground already for us, which makes it nice and easy. Then we're going to use about a tablespoon of chopped mint, a quarter cup of flat leaf Italian parsley, which is going to have more flavor than your curly parsley. We're going to use half of a red onion because it gives a little extra spice, about a quarter cup of quinoa that we're going to measure out once it's cooked, 2 cloves of garlic that we're going to mince up, and a lot of spices, which are going to include a half teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of chili flake, a quarter teaspoon of cinnamon, black pepper, and coriander. And then over here we have a spice blend from Morocco called Ras Al Hanout, which contains everything that I mentioned above and a little bit more. It's got a nice little smoky flavor, a little bit spicy, and it's just going to give you a lovely rounded blend of flavors. And then we're going to be making a lemon tahini sauce that's going to have a little bit of yogurt, tahini, and lemon juice, as well as some cayenne pepper if you choose to make it a little bit spicy. Although our kofta is going to be delicious if used like a burger or any general meatball, today we're going to be skewering it. And if you decide to use your skewers on any surface that has fire involved with it, it's always recommended that you take your skewers and soak them for at least 30 minutes in warm water. That way it absorbs the water and prevents it from burning. So that's a general safety tip for you. Once you have your skewers soaking, you're going to want to cook your quinoa because that takes a little bit of time. You're going to start with 2 parts of water. So in this case, we're going to do 2/3 a cup of water in our pot, and we're going to bring that to a boil on our back stove. Once that's boiling, you're going to take 1/3 cup, or 1 part, of quinoa and place it into the boiling water and reduce the temperature down to a low simmer. And then you're going to put a lid on it just like you would do with rice, and you're going to want to cook it for about 5 to 8 minutes. And if it's not quite done yet, go ahead and cook it a little bit longer. You'll know it's done because the quinoa pearl itself will start to split open a little bit, and it'll get a little white ring around it. Some people say it looks like worms. That's weird, right? So while your quinoa is cooking, you're going to go ahead and chop all of your herbs. We have our Italian parsley that I mentioned, and its stems are fairly small, but if you go through and see any really large ones, you're going to take those and just get rid of those. But any smaller ones like this are going to be okay. You'll notice that there was a little bit of a difference between some of these. So again, the big ones, just get rid of those. And then at the same time, because we want to work efficiently, we're going to take our mint leaves and just break off any of those large stems as well. You're going to want to do about 1/4 of the size of mint in your pile as opposed to your parsley. That way you don't have way too much mint and taste a little too herby in there. But if you get a little bit too much, you can always use less of your pile or add some more parsley later. The important thing right now is that you just have all your stems out. Then you're going to kind of bundle it together, and then you're going to take your knife and slowly rock through it. You want to use your knife to actually cut it as opposed to squishing it with the edge. It's a nice sharp instrument, so you should rely on that to use all the force. We're going to just go over it once or so. Be careful with your hands. What we're doing is we're going to bend our fingers in so that our knife has a nice edge to lean up against. And you're going to keep your fingers tucked back, and your thumb is definitely going to be behind those. That way you limit your chances of cutting yourself. Trust me, I've done that many a times. And you're just going to keep going back and forth over it, occasionally moving your hand on top of the knife, but never underneath it. And you're going to go back and forth until your nice herb pile is chopped. You don't have to go super tiny, but really big leaves might leave a weird mouthfeel, so you want to make sure that it's not super large. That's looking pretty good. If you notice that you've got some big stems avoiding you, go ahead and just get rid of them. That's no big deal. Little tiny stems are just going to blend in really nicely. Once that's all ready, you can clean your blade off And go ahead and put it into your pound of chicken that we have over here. Once you have all of your herbs already cut up and placed into the bowl with your chicken, you're going to take your onion, and just like before, we have a stem side and a root side. The root holds it all together, so we're just going to take and give that a little slice off, keeping all the root end intact. But then we're going to do a fairly larger slice through the stem end of the onion, exposing all of your nice little rings in there. You're going to put your ring side down and find your stem again, and go ahead and cut right in half there. The stem is going to keep it all held together, nice and neat for you. That way it doesn't just fly everywhere. We're going to then take and peel off our outer skin, and then we're going to follow all these little ridges in our onion all the way around real quick.
Okay.
Then you're going to take your onion and turn it just a little bit so you can cut nice little dices out of it. Make sure you keep your fingers back and use that guiding hand like we talked about. When you get down to the last little bit of it, you can take and just slice in a few times, using as much onion as you can. We're going to go ahead and just add that into our chicken. Next, we're going to add in all of the spices I mentioned earlier. You'll notice I'm using whole cumin seeds for this. That's just a personal preference. However, if you don't have any, you can absolutely use ground cumin. That's completely fine. So we're just going to dump that in. And then, because we don't want to handle raw chicken without a glove on, or at least we want to wash our hands really well afterwards, we're just going to mix this up. Get it all nice and blended together. Once those spices get a little damp, you're going to notice that they release quite the smell, and that's what you really want to have, is just a nice pungent, herby, spicy chicken. Due to a technical issue, you didn't see us put the quinoa into the kebab. However, let me assure you that it did make it in there. So what you didn't see due to this technical issue was that we took 1/4 cup of our cooked quinoa and we poured it into our mixture of chicken and spices and onion and such, and then we started making kebabs out of it. To do that, you're going to take about a small palm full of your chicken mixture and press it in. See, there's some quinoa in there. Then you're going to take one of your lovely whetted wooden skewers and press it right in the center and kind of envelop it with the chicken, and turn it around, and you have these lovely little kebabs. And then you're just going to continue doing that until your chicken's all used up. So once all your kebabs are made, we're going to take and have a hot griddle. Ours is a lovely little grill pan. If you don't have one of these, you can just use a saute pan or a cast iron skillet. You could also use a standard charcoal or propane grill. But we're going to take our kebabs and we're going to lay them angled on the pan to give you some nice little grill marks, and we're going to cook them for about 5 to 8 minutes, flipping halfway through, depending on how high your heat is. Will be how long it takes until they're cooked all the way through. You're going to know that because they'll change drastically in color to be a light whitish color, and they're going to be pretty solid when you are finished cooking them, just like a regular chicken breast would be. So while your kebabs are cooking, we're going to make a really quick tahini yogurt sauce. We've got about a cup of yogurt. We're going to just use plain yogurt. It's not even going to be Greek. However, if you like the taste of Greek yogurt a lot, go ahead and use that. That's going to reduce moisture a little bit and add an extra protein. And then we're going to use about 1/3 cup of tahini. Tahini is a ground sesame paste, so if you're allergic to seeds, you might not be able to have that. So then we're going to add in the juice of 1 lemon. Just going to squeeze it directly into our bowl here. You might want to go a little on the lighter side of that if you don't like things super tart. But we're just going to go ahead and add the whole lemon in there. Remember, you can always add more. It's a little hard to take lemon juice out. We're going to give that a little stir up. blend it together. And then we're going to go and take 2 cloves of garlic that we separated out of the head, and then we're just going to pound on the base of our knife a little bit. That way it cracks open the pod and gets that paper nice and easy to remove. And 2. A little bit stuck on there. Get rid of that. We're going to take our knife and we're just going to do nice thin slices one way. Making sure you tuck that finger in there. That's today's big lesson. Keep your fingers nice and safe. Rock it through. And then we've got our nice large slices of garlic, and we're going to kind of turn that a little bit. Give it a nice little slice the other way. And then push it back together. And cut it up one more time. Okay, I like 2 more times, maybe 3. We'll go 3. We like odd numbers. I'm going to smear that off a little bit. Get rid of that little paper that snuck on. I'm just going to go ahead and give that in to our garlic, our sauce mixture. Spin it around. And go ahead and give that a little taste. Make sure it's nice and tart enough. It's a little on the thick side, so we might add a little water if it tastes tart enough. That's a little tart, but I think that's going to contrast really nicely. So we're just going to add a little bit of water to the right consistency, just so it pours a little nicely, and then we'll be great. So once your kebabs have started changing color about halfway up, like this one has, you know it's ready to flip. So you're going to just take a spatula, because they're a little harder to get sometimes until they've really solidified, and turn them over. You're looking for that nice color. Very careful so you don't pull the stick out. But once it's cooked, the stick will want to stay in. And again, if you wanted to, you could make it just like a burger and grill it as a patty, and it would be perfectly fine, and you wouldn't have to worry about that little stick. And when we'll see it again when it's all fully cooked. So once your kebabs are fully cooked, we're going to take them off of our little grill and put them on a nice little bed of romaine and some tomatoes. If you wanted some onions, you could add that too. And we're just going to give it a nice little, ooh, that's clumpy, but a little drizzle of our tahini yogurt sauce, like so. And then, our favorite part, make sure you blow on it, because these just came off. We're going to bite it and hopefully not burn our mouths. Not as hot, but all those spices explode and are just lovely. We'll catch you next time.